Greetings, warriors. For this lesson, we're going to talk about perspective. So what I hope to do here is to do a couple of different things. Number one, show you where it is in Canvas, go through the rubric, how the learning target's going to match how you're being assessed, then talk about what perspective is, and then in the following videos I'll go step by step to show you how to draw a house in perspective and to draw a landscape. This is a really important lesson. I think you'll enjoy it. It's important because when you look at things, your mind plays tricks on you. Because if you were to draw like a house, you know all the walls are the same height, but the further things are away, the smaller they get, the closer they are to you, the bigger they get. And when you understand perspective, you can draw something that looks real. Let me talk a little bit about, first start with Canvas and where the module is, how the rubric is, and go through that part, and then I'll talk about perspective. So here we are in Canvas, and so you're going to go to Modules, and then right here, from all of next week and into the following week, we'll be working on this project right here, which is to draw a house in two-point perspective. Now, I'll have the videos. There's this video and then 4 additional videos on how to do the project. And you just can watch a project, and they're all YouTube videos, and just follow along. Now, the big thing I want to talk about first is the rubric. So here's the rubric right here, and you can see the rubric. It's I can draw. Here's the learning targets. And the learning targets are the exact same thing as you're being assessed on. So number one, I can draw a rambler in using two-point perspective, and then you come down here to the rubric, and student drew the rambler using two-point perspective. Number two, I can draw siding a roof correctly using two-point perspective, and then you go down to number 2, a student drew siding a roof using two-point perspective. So the learning targets are the exact same thing you guys are being assessed on. So number 3 is I can draw the door, windows, and stairs using two-point perspective. Number 4 is I can draw a landscape, and number 5 is about writing a short paragraph about who lives in the house that you're drawing. Now, you don't need to do number 5. So just attach the photo, and I'm going to just give you the points for number 5 if you do the first 4 steps. It'd be easier for her in class, but for distance learning, I just want to see the photo of your final project. So this is how you're going to be assessed right here, and just about all the projects to follow will follow the same format, where you have your learning targets, and then you'll be assessed on the learning targets, which are just the steps to do the project itself. So this is where the rubric is for the project. Just want to make sure that you know where that is, and then you can follow through how you get your different points based on how you do with the drawing. So again, you're doing 1 through 4. You don't need to worry about 5. You don't need to worry about the short paragraph at the end of this. So let's talk about the project you're going to do. So what I want to do right now is talk about what perspective is. And there's 1-point, 2-point perspective, and there's actually a 3-point perspective here. So I kind of want to start out with what 1-point perspective is. And for this, what you need to know is to draw things in perspective, you need to have usually a horizon, and the horizon line right here is just the horizon where the sky meets the ground. But if you're not outside, the horizon's eye level. Wherever you're looking straight, that is the horizon line. And then you're going to have a vanishing point. And the vanishing point is the point that the line's going to go to make things look in perspective. So here's 1-point perspective where you're looking straight down a street. And you can see that there's, right at the end of the street, if I was to draw a line from where the street ends on the horizon, it matches up with the sidewalk. It matches up with the other side of the sidewalk. You look at the top of the buildings, it matches up with the top of the buildings. So things are smaller the further they get away, and the bigger they're closer to you. And this just helps you draw it so you can see it. So the same thing here. You get the sidewalk on the other side. You have the sign for the Ace Hardware on the top of the sign, and you guys kind of get the idea. So that dot right there that those lines go to, that's called a vanishing point. And this works great for if you're looking straight down the street, or here I just took this at Sibley. This is upstairs, right when you walk up the stairs in the main entrance. And I'm looking down the hall, and I can see that the ceiling tiles, they all kind of line up, go to one point. The floor all lines up and goes to one point. The walls all kind of go to one point. So what I got right here, here's the top of the railing for the stairs, and it's kind of like matches up to that point at the end of the hall. See the columns? If you draw a line straight from that one point, the columns all line up to that one point. The lines on the floor for the tiles, they all line up to that one point. So here's like the top of the roof where it hits the ceiling right up here, and it all lines with that point. So you can see how you get more ceiling tiles, the top of the columns, the lights, the ceiling tiles, but they all go to that one point. So you're drawn, when you look at the length or the depth of something, it's all going to that one point. And then it's easy to draw things in perspective because it's smaller the further it gets away, and bigger the further it gets closer. The bigger it is, closer to you. So, and then I have the vanishing point in the middle. So that's one point perspective. But in life, you're usually not just looking at things like straight down hallways. Most of the time, you're looking at things at angles. So I'll talk about that here in a second with 2-point perspective. But here's just kind of an example. 1-point perspective, you have your vanishing point. Then you got drawn lines to the vanishing point. Then you're drawing like rectangles per side of the buildings, either straight, vertical, horizontal lines. But every single line is either straight, vertical, horizontal, or goes to a vanishing point. And you can kind of see step by step how you would actually just draw that out in a 1-point perspective drawing. But now what I was talking about here in a second is this: we're going to be doing a 2-point perspective drawing. So what is 2-point perspective? Well, 2-point perspective is if you look at something at an angle. So here is the pizza pub, what I'm going to do is draw a vanishing point on either side of the paper right on the horizon where the sky meets the ground. And you can see that the sidewalk lines up to the vanishing point. The top of the roof, the overhang, they line up to the vanishing point. And then on the left side, I have a vanishing point on the left side, and you can see here that the overhang, the sidewalk, the top of the roof, all match up to the vanishing point. And so the bigger, the closest thing to us is that corner of the pizza pub, and that's big, and then things get further away, even though we know they're the same size. But since we're looking in perspective, it's going to look smaller, and the vanishing points help us to draw that smaller. And so I got the vanishing points on the left and the right. This is a discount tire store that's right on Robert Street, just looked at a Google map on this. And so the same thing, you can see right here. Here you have the vanishing point on the right, and the sidewalk matches up with it, the top of the roof matches up with it, the windows will match up to it, the parking spots will match up to it, and then on the left, you have the discount tire, the bottom of the road, the top. You guys get the idea for matching things up to the vanishing point on the left and the vanishing point on the right. So that's 2-point perspective, and that's what we're going to be drawing in this drawing today. Now, here's kind of how you draw a 2-point perspective. And like number one, you're drawing the horizon line. Then you're drawing a vanishing point on the left and the right of the horizon line. And now you're matching up, you go down to number 4, you're matching up, you're drawing a line straight and down, and then you match the bottom of that line to the vanishing point on the left, the top of the line to the vanishing point on the left, the bottom of the line to the vanishing point on the right, the top of the line to the vanishing point on the right. Then you draw a line straight and down where you're going to have the sides. You can erase the lines you don't need. Then you can draw the top where you match the corner up to the vanishing point on the right, corner to the vanishing point on the left, and it makes a form. And then you can have more forms and shapes. More forms and shapes, you can stack them, and pretty much the entire house, all we're going to be doing is drawing lines to the left, lines to the vanishing point on the left, lines to the vanishing point on the right, or lines straight and down. If 95 to 98% of all the lines on the house will be either to the left vanishing point, right vanishing point, or straight up and down. And that's how you draw in 2-point perspective. Now, I'm going to talk about one more. We're not going to do this trimester, but I just want you to know about it. It's the last one they got is 3-point perspective. And 3-point perspective, so like now say 1-point perspective, you're looking at some straight on, like straight down a road, straight down a hallway. 2-point perspective, you're looking at something at an angle. You're not looking straight down at it. So, but 3-point perspective, now you're looking up at something. So here you have something you're looking at an angle and up. And to do that, you're going to draw three vanishing points. So right here, I have a vanishing point up on the very top, a vanishing point on the very bottom on the left, and the very bottom on the right. And by doing that, for the width and the depth, match up to the vanishing point. So you can see here all the lines for the windows, the different floors that are going to the vanishing point on the left, and then the same thing on the vanishing point on the right. They all match up, all the lines for the windows, all the lines for the doors, all the lines for everything else. But now when you look at the height, instead of drawing lines stripping down, I'm drawing things to the third vanishing point. So you can see here the side of the building, all the windows, everything else goes to 3 vanishing points. So that's pretty much it for the vanishing points. There's 3 different vanishing points. I have this video right here, which I'll include, which just kind of covers the 1 point, 2 point, 3 point in perspective, but it does it in like 1 minute, so it's a pretty quick video. With that, let's get started on drawing this 2 point perspective house. I think you'll like it. This is a fun project to do, and I just want to say one other thing. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it step by step, and you can follow with me step by step on how to do the drawing. But then later on, I want you to add your own. You'll figure out how to draw a window pretty quick. You'll figure out how to draw a door pretty quick. You'll figure out the basic stuff of things. So make it your own. If there's something you want to do, so maybe you want to have a bigger garage, or maybe you want to have a different style window, or maybe you want to have your door on the other side. You don't need to have it exactly the way I have it. You can, but once you kind of get the idea, as long as it's a 2 point perspective, you're gonna get all the points for that. Let's get started then.